I'm gonna just do the light.
The red light, please.
Red light.
So if I could ask for no photos until I've successfully survived this experience, and maybe you have too, we hope. So, quite wordily, I'm going to take us into hell, into Dante. I promise I'll try not to do it in the expected way. I'll just say I'm a poet, I'm the poet K, and I'm sick, I'm ill. 1. Feast of San Antonio di Padua, Pauram Portamont, Via Umberto I, Votura Rapula, in Bosco San Cristoforo and Bosco San Antonio, in Monti Downy, June 2024. I found myself in the dark wood. I came to my senses, or they came to me, in the form of pain. In other words, I cannot sometimes walk, and if I tried, or try, my feet clutched the earth, my legs dragged me down my back, pulls me backwards, into the ground, into time. It's been said before, here and here and here. A twisted trick, you'll find. The path clear and straight was lost. I know where this goes, but I won't explain. Halfway through this thing we call life, our life, outward to the end, in motion, in medias res, but not more than half. Or only just so. By a few steps, a few votes, points, ticks, hairs, stones, coins, water, lines, bridges, ferries, tolls. Tolls of bells. Alarm bells, doorbells, come in, why don't you? You've, we've, I've missed off, let drop, got lost. For the trees. I for detail. Metaphors. Images. This is a thing. Something about the perfected plan. Drawn out by figures. Can't see the wood, the way, the straight path, the good road, lost because it never was. Plans. Made by others while you were, you know it, the point in motion, ever it was, a place, a journey, what a trip, beside the point, beyond belief. Clutch the metal. You were on this tray, a crust that means clutch the metal before you head off. Hand or tongue or head or breast of a saint. Eyes. 3 attempts to kill most, at least. Figure on the dash. Figure on the card in the wallet. The other one. Saint of lost things. Potatoes in the fire. Potatoes a long way from home. From stakes in time. Far away across seas, someone mentions his name next to yours. Your name, which is K. His is Dante, or Durante. It's been a long time since then. I found myself on this screwy road once. I knew enough about darkness lent by sums of trees to stop half the time and pick it up. Speak what I saw. Tell you all in detail. Love ties us in knots. Words are old branches. Scratched tongues. Desiring bids us take a step, whether we see a way forward or not. So fear. bitter tread, practically worse than death. I'm journeying, meaning a lot. Good. Charactering. This plot, I woke up, I don't know how to say it here. I slept in it, woke to it, swam in it. Fear. A place. A word. A wood. I was there all night, except I don't know where. Fear moves over the waters of the great lake of my heart. Valley shadowed death, heart pierced. Crux. I looked up. Hill. Shoulders clothed in sky and that light. Light on the great lake of my heart, calm, breathing. I looked back to see how I advanced, progressed. I sought that me in the crevasse, the gap, the hole left by fear's retreat. I could not find that her, or her gappy heart. No matter. This eye made it through. Stretches her body like an open hand. Rests. Takes steps that hold firm in the desert. Arrests decline. Hills rise. Leopard. Ready, spotted, fleet, trailing me. I turned around again and again to see her staying power, all this looking back. I glimpse her still with me. I was just barely advancing till the sun came along and the stars with it, just as love first moved them all. And all beautiful things. So marks on skin give hope in good time. Then I was fine. Except I saw the lion. Starving, proud. The beast coming for me. Shaking the air, I breathe. Ready to take me down. And the wolf, she's been through it. All the ringers. Cranking in circles, squeezing, pressing, others through too. I'm always thinking these things don't happen to me. Such lack of peace. Or so I thought till this or that beast grabs me and I go down, lose the sun's bright speech, repeat. This time I saw before me a form in the desert. Of course we talked origins. Born July, check. I was too. Lived in great cities under ambivalent leaders, held wonky positions on gods and truths. We have the same address, both poets, town criers. Epically so. Introductions over. We worried over the other like a towel drying off an old hound. After its hunt, why don't you go in or up? Or away or out of here? In your state, this journey is hardly a priority, despite the flow of words and these damn books constantly arriving, 1,000 million words on every thread of this knot. Distracted. We gave each other credit for how we structured tones, saved each other from a pileup of beasts toward the end of this bit of the poem. Especially the beast that is hunger, desire, productive, not sure, satisfy her, no point. The more I'm typing, it's less likely I'll let go of this form of end times or justice that's gnawing at me in my brain to shut her up. I need this raw energy. So I'm changing this ending even more. So, the guide is me, yourself, which is me, and souls you meet. Some are crying, others won't let themselves rip. Another change, a point of departure. It's not about shame at a gate, or about skulking after old classics. It's about seeing through reading, whether you are going, has been, or is now, or will be, written, or not. The poet K is cleaning the kitchen in the house 2 doors down from where her great-great-grandmother lived as wife of the unelected mayor of the village 90 years before. The unelected mayor was unelected because that was part of the plan developed by the new regime to gain and retain absolute control by directly appointing all representatives of the people's will as they thought it. Instead of the word mayor, the regime used a very old word from more than 900 years before, from the period of the great poet who wrote the great poem that the poet K is translating here. When the regime took control, they changed not just words, but also how they were typed. The leader's title, which replaced his name everywhere, and so in people's minds, had to appear on every page, no matter what typeface, like this, all capitals. There were style guides. The leader's title was descended from the language that gave way to the many languages spoken by the people all around this peninsula and beyond. The title means the leader. The word chosen to replace mayor means power. The surname of the man, the Power, who married Kay's relative, means bird of the woods, the one with the ring around its neck that signifies peace when it is white and carries a certain branch in its beak. The poet K sweeps 3 ants into a pile of dust and hair and crumbs. She had enjoyed the previous 2 seasons in this house when there had been no ants at all. It had been a relief after last summer when the merest crumb raised an alarm through the stone walls, one which bordered the palace held by an aristocratic family, still, the other through which her blind neighbor in her 90s lived. The neighbor, named for a type of flower, had worked from age 13 until she lost her sight and shattered her knee. The neighbor sang work songs from the fields of her youth, and the poet K noted them down. The first song was about a little handful of flowers. It came from the north of the peninsula and had become an alternative anthem for the whole country after the war that predated the regime that swept away mayors, words, and typographies, and so many lives. If indeed it's possible to grow flowers in the aftermath. Soon after Kay arrived in the village, the day before, the mayoral and continental election results were declared. The incumbent had won, this time by 60 votes, after the surprise of last time, when he had unseated his rival by only 5. One side drank the night of the win to celebrate. The other drank the next day to weep. The poet K drank with both and talked about other things, as they all liked. Food, what to make, how to do it, what was eaten last night, this morning, the plan for today, tonight, but not too far down the line, either way. The poet K repeated her phrases. I know the national story, and the great poet, what happened to him, how he wrote his sacred poem. I have only just arrived and do not want to be exiled so soon. The poet K crossing the poem over, carrying it through her for you. Around 250 souls live in this village, plus the poet K half the time. Here the poet K can move. If in this place she can speak, she doesn't get dragged into time. She steps into it, crosses over it, back and forth, like a shuttle carries threads on a loom. The poet K arrived in this village after she had been told that despite her youth, her days were on the wane. Degenerative illness, decline. She bought another house, as rich people do when they are nearly done with life. Not those who are halfway through. Kay sped up the order of things and started weaving the cloth herself, knotting herself into the loom. This youngish poet Kay is old, or seems so. When her medications aren't working, which of course happens and will happen more and more often, the poet K's movement is worse than that of the neighbor named for the flower who cannot see and has a steel knee and who sings an alternative national anthem about bunches of flowers being handed over with love. Kay sprays the ants and the dust and the hair and clipped nails in the pan. She tracks the line of poison along frames of the door and windows, a border, a frontier. Some ants will have some of their kind on the other side. These poisons, used during the war, the one before the powers and the leader took their seats, and style guides were changed and the flowers grew over the fallen instead of being gathered for love as the song demanded. These poisons, these weapons, the ones the leader dropped on the people against the convention so he could take their lands, and in his words, fertilize them. The people, he said, were his. These poisons, these weapons, these fertilizers freeze the system, including the mind. These weapons, these poisons, locusts eating holes in K's brain. Such illnesses are rising fast, especially among the young. The midpoint of life is coming sooner, hence the need for this guide. These poisons, these weapons, these fertilizers, breathed by the people crowded into showers. These poisons, these weapons, these fertilizers on the skin of fruit when the people mouth it. A call from Kay's nurse just now. Kay wants more time each day without pain. The risk with more meds? Psychosis. Medicines are poisons. Weapons against disease and pestilence, to grow, to eat, to live. Arrows dipped in substance, shot through the air, since the beginning of whatever time. What do you want out of life? No. Adjust. The human condition. Plus. Mind you, it's your lifestyle. Your choice. There is no guide, no power, no leader, no plan. As such, marches don't tend toward progress in the first place, despite what has been thought. Mind and body were always going down together, entwined and not. This is what is really meant by us. With a handful of wet paper towel, not flowers, Kay wipes the pan, now full with poisoned bodies of ants and nails and hair and crumbs. Kay cleans, but not as much as those who taught her how, like her aunt called Kay, but with a different full name, who is now in a home, her house in order, out of her hands. Her Aunt Kay is in mind care. A chair, a blanket woven by a machine, ice cream, a brush through her hair. K and K's minds and bodies circling, meeting at various points in a structure called time. Time. A structure which is not a thing. It can't be touched, though it can be felt by something running through you. Your heart, like a line, or a letter made of more than one. This letter has changed little since it was first inscribed. An open hand. The letter is K, not unlike an X, a signature, a cross turned on its side, electing who to do what.